Why the fuck does Disney executives do this type of film? My goodness! Besides 1.6 billion for the 2019 version, there was no reason to do this film. My goodness, what was it? My goodness, who asked for an origin story of Mufasa and Scar? I don't know who you are, but if you will go out into the unknown, maybe you'll find a better concept in the circle of life. This isn't gonna make much money, and it wastes its cast, and Barry Jenkins directing it. Oh, what was this? Yet it's still better than the film from 5 years ago. It's the circle of bland remake life. Mufasa, the Lion King, is the prequel and also the origin story of Mufasa and Scar. If you couldn't figure that out, don't ever fucking reproduce, and don't even get on the internet, because you're obviously not intelligent enough to understand things. That's mean, but I'm sorry. This film, while I will say right now, is a tiny little bit better than the 2019 Lion King movie, it's still not any fucking good. It's not. Any halfway decent ideas with the origin story basically get stamped down from, well, bland storytelling. It's overly long. It follows beat for beat what a lot of these live-action Disney movies follow. And the motivations for why Scar turned into Scar, they're fucking obvious. Which, I mean, might actually have had some emotional depth if we were given a reason to care about any of these characters in the first place. So Barry Jenkins, who did Moonlight and most recently wrote The Fire Inside, I guess he was busy getting paid a shit pot full of money to do this. Jeff Nathanson did this. He also did the 2019 Lion King and Speed 2. I'm just going to go ahead and blame Disney executives for just not wanting to even try with this. And the idea was there that this could have at least mildly worked, but I had a feeling that if it was going to be better than the 2019 Lion King movie, it wasn't going to be by much. And let me just say, all the movies I've seen still couldn't possibly crack my worst list. Laziest, I would say, if I did the 10 laziest movies I've seen in 2024, this would be on there because it was really, really goddamn shit. But again, there's talent here. There's Aaron Pierre as Mufasa. He was in Rebel Ridge, which is terrific. You should check that out. You have Kelvin Harrison Jr., who is Taka. Not Taka Michinoku. No Michinoku drivers here. More in the pity. Tiffany Boone, who voiced Sarabi. Or Sarabi. Yeah, that's it. And Preston Nyman. No, not Hyman. I think a busted Hyman would hurt less than this. Moving on. He voices Zazu. They couldn't get John Oliver back. But then again, he was supposed to be a younger one. Mads Mikkelsen voices Kyros, who is the leader of a very violent white lion tribe. Pride. Group. Whatever. Easily one of the worst goddamn villains that I have seen in any fucking Disney movie. But Blue Ivy Carter voices Kiara. Now, that is Simba and Nala's daughter. And the idea of this is Rafiki is basically telling Kiara this story about, her grandfather because Mufasa and, or not Mufasa, but Simba and Nala are taking care of something. We find out what that is a little bit later on. And yeah, we just bop into the past and then we bop into, back into the present where Kiara wants to know more about the story. Timon and Pumbaa are there because I guess Seth Rogen needed something to do. And so did Billy Eichner. Billy Eichner better figure out something else to goddamn do because after that goddamn Bros movie. So, okay, yeah, basically it's just telling the story of Mufasa, who was a stray, separated from his parents, and he basically grows into be the king. And we find out him and Scar, or Taka rather, were together. And by the way, Taka is Scar. If you can't figure that out, I'm sorry if that's too much of a spoiler, but you really, quite frankly, should have figured that out from the fucking trailer. Nevertheless, I want to talk about how some people were treating Blue Ivy Carter, who is the daughter of Beyonce. Now, If she has half of the talent that her mother has, she's going to do great things. What I want to talk about is this video that was going around of the premiere where certain creeps, and this is where I'm going to call this out, because I wasn't even aware this was a thing. Like, I wasn't even aware this was going on until I saw people that I trust commenting on. And then I actually saw the videos, like, okay, you just had this press, you have people there, you have Beyonce, you have these cast members, you have Blue Ivy Carter there. And people decided to make the comment because of the dress. I believe she's 12 or 13 years old. I don't know. It's not my week to give a shit what the age of celebrities' kids is. But the whole point is people were making the comments like, oh, you would let your daughter dress like Eddie would do this? Oh, is she going to start an OnlyFans thing next? And let me just say right now, if that's your first mindset with how celebrities want to dress, or how the children of celebrities, or how children in general, all this, if that's your first mindset, that says a lot more about you and your creepy head, and you probably should be put on several goddamn watch lists than anything else. She's a kid. Yes, she's in the public eye, but you know what? Again, she did fine in this, so let's maybe focus on her talent, and let's maybe not be fucking creeps. So we're going to have to be put on several watch lists. And if we look through their search history, we'd probably find a whole bunch of shit going on. So let's get back to the movie. The movie's fucking shit. It's really, really fucking bad. It's still not as bad as the 2019 Lion King, as I said. It's more boring than anything else. Like, the songs by Lin-Manuel Miranda are absolutely horrendous. I always wanted a brother like you. And the worst one is Till You Go Bye-Bye. I was actually thinking this has to be a rib. There's no way that somebody could have thought that song was a good idea. And yes, the photorealistic stuff, it seems like a good idea in theory, but just go watch National Geographic recreations, because it's better than this. A $200 million budget, which is, down about $60 million, I think. I don't know if that includes marketing. But, yeah, a Mufasa and Scar origin story, because the world was crying out for that. Yes, the original was a great movie, the 1994 version. The one that just came out 5 years ago did make $1.6 billion, so some variation was going to happen. They could have at least tried, and they didn't. And just the way the story plods along and just barely reaches a point, and then the motivations for Taka becoming Scar, it's just seriously poorly written characters. The voice actors are seemingly sleepwalking through a lot of their stuff. Even though they're trying here, it just doesn't work. And my God, it's at least 20 minutes longer than it needs to be. I'm going to check. I'm going to get into spoilers, what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to really edit myself so I don't get in trouble for some of the stuff I'm going to say. But they repeat stuff. They have like these two river scenes. And then they have elephant stampede. They have this kind of stuff. They have other animal action, and the lion attacks just don't mean anything. I mean, you're better off, again, watching National Geographic stuff. Go find your place in a circle of life. Go watch the 1994 version. You'll be happy. It's in theaters now if you want to watch it and torture yourself. Your kids might like it if you have not raised your kids to understand anything, like other than, hey, this is the type of slop you should enjoy. That being said, kids like different things. That's okay. Even some kids are allowed out of the house without adult supervision. 3, 2, 1, spoilers. So, the idea is Mufasa gets separated from his family. He gets rescued by Taka. They do the paw thing, where Scar has a long live the king thing, but he does it to get him out of the water before crocodiles eat him. And then there's Eshe, voiced by the incredibly talented and gorgeous Sandy Newton, who kind of takes a liking to Mufasa. Meanwhile, Obasi, I believe is the name of the king, he has, his royal blood with his son, but, his son, Taka. But then there's an attack by these white lions. Mufasa has the ability to, just understand, hey, I need to defend the woman that basically has raised me after I got separated from my own parents. By the way, his dad died in the flood. Good job there, Mufasa. You got your parents killed. Well, he actually got only his dad killed. His mother's fine. Sorry, I'm in the spoiler section. But he defends Eshe, and meanwhile, there is the death of one of these lions that happens to be Kairos' son. And, of course, this leads to Kairos' pride chasing them all over. And Rafiki ends up basically, finding his way towards them. And then you had Sarabi and Zazu join them as well, that just before Rafiki shows up. He gets kind of banned from his goddamn place, like his tree, because he keeps having these weird visions. He's a witch! And we keep cutting back to Rafiki telling these stories and stuff like that. And then the Timon and Pumbaa stuff just wasn't funny. And basically, what ends up happening is, even though Mufasa doesn't see a lot in him, he's very, smart. He understands certain smells, certain senses. He just has a way of understanding nature. Taka really likes Sarabi. And the idea is even after a rescue, these stampeding elephants, the stampede, as it were, because a bee hive was involved, she basically is rescued by Mufasa, and Sarabi, I got you. But he pushes it off and says that Taka did it. Now, deep down, Sarabi knows that this is bullshit, and eventually later, while they're on the snow-covered mountain, he's like, don't worry, Rafiki, I got you. And then she realizes it's him, and even though Taka has tried this, Taka is cowardly, he's, all just, this kind of stuff. He's supposed to be the he's supposed to be the royalty being protected, but he's also cowardly and kind of spoiled. And even though he feels he took Mufasa in, otherwise he would have been an orphan cub and possibly dead, he doesn't get rewarded like he feels he should. He feels entitled. So he ends up basically betraying, going to talk to Kairos, and he instantly becomes Scar, like just turns into Scar without the scar, and is going to lead them to this place called Malele, I believe is what it is. It's the Pride Lands, essentially. So yes, the lions show up. They get to the Pride Lands. We get the animals banded together. Mufasa is instantly able to band these people together, these animals together, just out of nowhere. Cinderella story. And even though there's a few of these lions, there are way more other animals, by the way, that could simply just step on these lions. By the way, the lion henchman, Mads Mikkelsen, who is terrific, by the way, as an actor, is totally neutered here. And the henchmen, you thought that the freaking, other hyenas outside the main three, or you thought the henchmen or the recreations in the 2019 version were bad. Jesus goddamn Christ, they didn't even try with some of this stuff. And again, this is still marginally better than the 2019 version. But Rafiki basically, he gets to this tree. He tells Mufasa, hey, my brother left long ago, but you are my brother. You are my friend. And that inspires Mufasa to band everybody together. He gets in a fight with Kairos, and they're in this water, and it looks like they're going to die. It looks like actually, Mufasa's going to die, but then Scar, he ends up actually banding and realizing, you know what, Kairos is a bad guy. Let me help him. And he had just gotten scarred before that. And then he is about to rescue Mufasa and has his paws in the thing again, because we're doing this again. And then he pulls him up. Because we had to go to that well one too many goddamn times. Yeah, but the two river parts and just so many other things going on with this, it's so bland and banal. And, oh yes, and also Kiara basically realizes that, her grandfather does live in her, according to Rafiki. But Rafiki basically says, hey, by the way, he lives in you. The parents come back, and she has a little brother. So, oh great, we're going to get another one of these. Because that's just what we fucking need, is another one of these goddamn fiascos. Again, still marginally better than the 2019 version. Ever so slightly. And it still gets an F. It's bland songs, a halfway decent idea that was poorly executed. It has a couple moments that are all right. But just a lot of this is just really bland. The worst indictment of this movie is that it's boring. It's really fucking boring. So that being said, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter, Letterboxd, and Blue Sky handles in the description. I'm John Ritlin, and I'll see you soon.